Well, hello, and how are you doing? I am tired, incredibly tired. I'm in a good mood, don't get me wrong, but just very, very tired. One second. Terribly sorry, I had to clear my throat. It was a long day. I got some production work done, got some work around my apartment done, some vacuuming, dusting, etc., etc. You know, the day-to-day life stuff that, the minutia that sometimes wears you down. And it's worn me down a little bit today. Oh, my throat is just really dry. One second. That should be a little bit better. So apologies. I didn't have really a set topic this evening. I guess I was just feeling kind of, I don't know, a little blah. The dark, cloudy, rainy weather kind of has that effect on me when it gets like that. It just kind of brings me down. I mean, it is technically the first full day of autumn because it did begin yesterday. And I know that so many people love autumn. They love it. They love sweater weather, as they say. You know, sweater weather is so great. It's wonderful. It's this, it's that, it's the other thing. But some of us, like myself, find it to be less than exciting. I think for myself, mostly it's because it's sort of the realization that summer is over. Now, it'll still be relatively warm here for a few more weeks before the autumn season really kicks in. By Thanksgiving, which this year is actually late, it's October 14th this year, the way the calendar worked out. I think it's the 13th or 14th, I'm not sure. I don't know the exact date, but it's the second week of October this year, just the way things worked out. So it's later than normal, which means it might be a little bit chilly at Thanksgiving this year. I don't know. I don't know how to think about that because normally it's still autumn and still relatively warm. I mean, I remember many in October Thanksgiving when it was 22, 23, 18 degrees, somewhere in that nature, somewhere in that vicinity. That's Celsius for my American friends, not Fahrenheit. So you're looking at low 70s, I guess, something like that. I'm not sure the translation. It's been too many years. I've been working in the metric system for almost 50 years now. 1976 is when we made the official change in Canada. Although we never, weirdly enough, went 100%. So, not going to get into that. Just enjoying an emotional support beer. Thanks to Brent Terhune for calling it that. Kind of had, I don't know, did we had our show this morning as we do, every Monday morning, Monday to Friday, from 7-ish a.m. till 9. It went a little bit longer than planned this morning, but that's fine. Then took Ms. Lola out for a nice little walk and got back home, and I wasn't feeling 100%, and I think it's due to the fact that it is hay fever season, so I had to lie down for a little bit. Took about an hour to lie down and just close my eyes and try and meditate. I'm going to lie on my Shakti mat a little bit later, which is just above the studio here. I'll pull it off and lie down on that for 10 or 15 minutes and see if that helps. It's 6,000 spikes that stick in your back. I know it sounds like torture, and the first time you try it, it is. I don't know how else it's torturous. However, as my beloved can attest, it was a miracle worker on me when I was at my sister's place this time last year, and my allergies were seriously kicking my butt because she lives out in the country. And the Benadryl wasn't working. None of the medication that I normally take was doing anything for me. So she said, why don't you try this? It works miracles for me when I have a headache or anything. And I had a major sinus pressure. So I lied down on this mat, and within 5 minutes, I was clear as a bell and my headache was gone. Maybe it had to do with the fact that I had 6,000 spikes sticking in your back. Kind of creates a whole new level of pain, and the mind just sort of leaves the area of the pain and goes somewhere else to deal with something else. I don't know how that works, but it worked really well for me. Worked really well for me. And I hope that it will help this evening, because here's the funny thing. It's also occasionally it's helped with my mental health, because when you have a migraine or a sinus headache, you can't think clearly, and it does affect your mental health negatively. So I've lied down on the mat, and sure enough, within 10 or 15 minutes, you start to feel a little bit better. I don't know if it's a distract from this pain while you deal with this pain. I don't know if that's how it works. Smarter people than me, I'm sure, can tell me exactly how, but all I know is that it's effective and it functions well. I am considering getting an inversion table to help with my back pain. I had a friend who offered me one about a year ago. I just said, "Oh my goodness, no! That's It was a $400 table, and he just wanted to give it to me." And I'm like, "No, goodness, no! Don't do that." I just didn't feel right about it. I think I can get something for about $100 that I can fold up and slide underneath my couch and just tuck it away and bring it out when I need it, which I think might be the ideal way to go, to relieve some lower spine pressure. Unkink it, straighten it out, take some of the gravity off of it, or reverse the gravity, I should say, because, invert. Anyway, I'm babbling. My apologies. I don't know. I don't know what to say this evening. I think I just, had one of those days where I felt a little empty. Not not in a bad way, though, if that makes any sense. Just blah. I felt blah. And that's the truth. I have a number of projects that need to be dealt with, and a book that I'm narrating I need to get back to doing. I have 2 more books I have to work on as well. They'll all be on Audible up in the near future. Once they're available, I'll put links in the chat if anybody wants to go out and make a purchase, or, you know, have a look at it anyway. I'll be using a slightly different narrator's type voice for it, as opposed to this mellow ASMR voice. This is what my natural speaking voice is like, but it's very low and it's very quiet. And when I go out in public, I have to raise it up a few notches, just so I can be heard. Change the pitch and the timbre and the volume. But I prefer to just be able to speak like this, because it's just, it's natural for me to talk like this. It doesn't take any effort. It's just away you go. But for narration, I augment my voice, because I've been asked to create some type of character. When you're narrating a book, you want to be a narrator, and then you change your voice when you're quoting somebody in the book, a character of. Anyway, it's neither here nor there, I guess. I have a fair bit of work to get done over the next few days, And hopefully, I can make it all happen. I think I can. I just need a better day tomorrow than I had today. Today wasn't terrible. Nothing like last week, my goodness. Last week I had three plus days of just absolute emptiness, loneliness, despair, anguish. Anguish is the right word. And it's all literally in my head. There was nothing to be anguished about. There's nothing to despair. There's nothing to feel empty or hurtful about. But there you go. That's mental health. That's what depression and anxiety can do to you. Just lies to you and tells you things. But the problem is you feel it in your whole body. It's not just here. It's here. Here. And in your gut. You feel it in your shoulders and your back. It just goes through your entire body. It's painful. And it's a feeling of loneliness and emptiness and abandonment and I'm none of those things. That's the part that troubles me. I'm not lonely. I know I'm not abandoned. I have no reason to be in anguish or despair. But there you go. That's mental health. Depression and anxiety just tell you what they want you to hear, and they tell you at the most inopportune times, and there's very little you can do to control it. So you normally just have to tough it out. Make do with what you've got. Try and do the best to get through the day. Hopefully you don't bring harm to yourself or anybody else. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's truthful. I don't want to harm anybody. I don't want to harm myself. I don't want to cause harm for anybody. I think that's probably the key reason I'm still here. Because I know that if I left, it would be so hurtful to so many. I do know that. I have family, I have friends, I have loved ones, just like anybody else. So yeah, the worst days are difficult. Those are the days where you do the best you can. I mean, oddly enough, fortunately enough, in my current situation, I'm unemployed. So as a result, when the darkness crawls over me like it does, I don't have to take a day off work, call in sick. I've never called in and taken a mental health day because I was always afraid to do it, even though I desperately needed it sometimes. I would just call in sick, say it was my back, which, irony enough, always hurt when the depression hit, because you do feel it in your body. So it was an easy way for me to say, my back is killing me today, I just can't come in. It was truthful, but it wasn't the whole story. It wasn't the entire picture. It was only a part of it. And I think now we are in a time and space where we can discuss those things. Although when I'm in a dark spot, I usually can't talk about it until I come out of it. I might be able to say, yeah, things aren't good right now, and let's just leave it at that. When I come through the other side of it, I'm always able to discuss what I was feeling when I was feeling it. It's a bizarre disorder how it twists your mind around so much. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, it can be hell sometimes. But one of the things about being able to manage with this disorder for as long as I have is that I do realize that it is only temporary. It doesn't last forever. if I can just hold on for a little bit longer. The depression is bad when it hits because it zaps you of your strength and your will to do anything. You just simply can't get out of bed. But when the anxiety hits during the depression, it's worse because you have no energy whatsoever. You're incapable of doing anything. All you want to do is sleep, but you can't sleep because the anxiety is making your mind race nonstop. It's like you've had 4 Red Bulls and a couple of espressos. Your heart is beating. Your head is pounding. Your mind is racing. And there's nothing you can do to calm it. I mean, medication helps, but it's not a cure-all. It doesn't fix everything. And sometimes meditation doesn't work. Sometimes deep breathing exercises don't do it. When the anxiety gets really bad, all you do is just hold on for dear life and wait till it passes, knowing full well that it will. But a minute feels like an hour, and an hour feels like a day. And that's the hard part. Just trying to hold on to get through that. And now we get into the time of the season where it affects me probably more so than normal. We're 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness right now, and that will soon change and start to go the other way around. The days don't get shorter. They're still 24 hours, after all. But you have less daylight hours as the sun sets earlier and rises later. And as the cold weather sets in, I find autumn is the worst season for me, personally. Winter I enjoy because I can ski, I can skate, I can cross-country ski. I can go out and play hockey on the rink across the street. Autumn, especially in Canada's capital, can get really cold really early. There's no snow. It's not cold enough for snow, but it's not pleasant enough to really be outside. What are you going to do? Sure. You go walking in the Gatineaus to see the fall foliage, and that's wonderful. But you've done that 50 times. Doesn't really hold the same sort of fascination anymore, I guess. I'm speaking for myself, of course. Maybe it's different from you. But for me, I just can't. I can't get into autumn. Now, it might be different if I lived, in a warmer climate where, hey, look at the fall colors. This is great. And the cold weather doesn't get here until late December. And even then, it's not that bad. But here, it's a different story. I find October's a good month because you've got Thanksgiving at the beginning and Halloween at the end. So 2 things to look forward to. November, there's nothing. There's nothing. Nothing to look forward to in November. It's just cold, gray, usually wet and rainy. And it takes its toll on me physically and emotionally. And that's about as honest as I can be about autumn. Not my favorite season. Spring, spring is like, oh, thank goodness the summer will soon be here. I'm a winter-summer person. Spring, not so much. Allergies, Anyway, it's kind of where my head is at today. Just lamenting the fact that autumn is here and summer is over, and even though the weather's still going to be relatively warm for the next little while, today was not like that. Today was a little chilly. Today was not summer-like. This past weekend was. It was gorgeous. It was hot every day. It was wonderful. I loved it. And it was a very busy weekend. But today felt like autumn. Today felt like October. And I'm not ready for October. I know it's a few days away. What are we, the 23rd right now? So it's a few days away, but maybe sometime soon the weather will improve, get a little warmer, get a little nicer. I don't know. Maybe I need a weekend at Lenodic Spa. Yeah, no, I don't know. Autumn is a good time to go, and winter is a good time to go. Early spring is a good time to go. I'm not much to head there in the summer, to be honest with you, but when there's snow on the ground or the leaves are falling, it's a nice time to go to the spa. Big outdoor spa, largest in North America, actually. Lenodic, just a few minutes from here. Nordik, if you want to look it up online. It's quite spectacular. I usually go there once a year, sometimes twice. That's more than enough because it's not cheap. It's worth it, but it's an expensive afternoon. So try and make the most of it each and every time. Anyway, I'm kind of babbling right now because I'm tired and a little empty-headed and don't have a lot to say this evening. I'm sorry. It's one of those nights when there's not much on the mind, you know. And I think I'm feeling the change of season today because the weather definitely changed. Saturday it was 27 degrees, I think. Felt like 32. It was beautiful. Went to a football game. I went to a party, went to a Taste of Wellington, which is a big outdoor market on Wellington Street in Ottawa, in Westboro. It was good. It was a great weekend. I was exhausted on Sunday, but it was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. Anyway, I've been kind of empty-headed today, and I think it has to do with the change of season. I'm sure that's what it is. How even though the trees are still green, with the exception of two, there's literally two in my neighborhood that have changed and started dropping leaves weeks ago. Everything else is still green, and it still feels like summer, but I guess the psychological aspect of it, you know, that autumn is here, kind of hits me pretty hard. And, well, I mean, what can I say or do? I can't change it. It is inevitable. I'll do my best to make the best. How does that sound? That's about all I can do. Do my best to make the best of a situation that I have zero control over. It's less about what happens to us and more about how we react to things. I can choose to react to this in the best possible way, which is what I endeavor to do. So, with that, or on that note, I should say, I think I will bid you adieu. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to finish my beer, maybe watch a little Netflix. I have some narration to do, but I have got no more gas left in the tank tonight. So it's time to just take my leisure, relax, and do nothing for a couple hours before I go to bed. Cuddle with my dog, you know. Alrighty. Thanks for coming out. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. And remember, I'm always here for you if you want to chat. Send me a message or an email. I might not respond right away, but I read everything and I respond when I can. Sometimes I can't respond because I don't know what to say. And I don't want to give you something empty. So I might just respond with a thumbs up or a heart emoji or a smile to let you know I've read your message, thank you. And I'll try and get back to you once I can. Okay. On that note, I will bid you adieu. You take care. I'll see you soon. Bye. Oops, my computer is not working.